Okay. Another question here for you. You said you liked student-made flashcards best in your book. Do you
Yeah.
think images we create are more memorable than images we see? And why is that, do you
Ooh, I don't even know if I'm qualified to answer that question.
think?
Um, I, I think that would completely have to depend on the image. There's some images in the media that are very have a very strong impact on all of us.
Hmm.
I've read it said by a man. I've read it from a man called Paul Lester, who's written a book called Visual Communication, that where the average American, average North American is subjected to something like 5,000 mediated images a day. Now, if you were to think about how many of those 5,000 mediated images you've seen today in your lifetime, you could probably give half a dozen or maybe a few dozen at least.
Hmm.
If you've drawn any pictures today, I don't know if anything have, I'm sure you'll remember them. So perhaps that suggests you remember our drawings better, but you can definitely think of images, iconic or really, really shocking or impactful pictures that we see in the media that really affect us all. And so yeah, I would say it depends on the picture. The one last thing I would say about it is you have to remember that the drawing, if you're drawing a language, you're actually experiencing it, and you're also bringing it to life, and you're giving it what often gets called ownership of that language. It's a little bit jargony, I think, but it's not. It's quite a nice, can be quite a nice way to look at it. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I mean, I think people who are forced to sit down and draw something anyway, I mean, they're thinking about it a lot, so I mean, they're gonna remember their image for sure.
Yeah,
It'll be more
yeah.
meaningful to them anyway.
It's one thing you've got to remember with that activity, that you'll find that the students will remember the language of their own pictures. And it's quite incredible how students can often remember word for word quite complex structures from the pictures they drew, but quite much more difficult to remember the, the language from their classmates. So that's completely to be expected. We've just got to bear that in mind when we're designing the follow-up activities and games that we use the flashcards for. A
Hmm.
number of them which are in that chapter of the book. Yeah.
Okay, I've got another question for you.
Yeah.
Do you feel that it's important to discuss copyright issues with learners and promote copyright-friendly practices to ensure respect for ownership of images is not abused?
I don't know if I'm the right person to be asking that. I, I,
Did you
I,
steal any of your images?
from the for the book, absolutely not, absolutely not. I couldn't have. I had to get in the book. Everything's complete. I had to be very, very thoroughly chased up, and the reason I don't think I'm the right person to ask about that is because I have a tendency to err not on the cautious side of copyright. I think that when we're talking about the likes of the images that I just presented from Google, I would imagine. Um, and yes, I've just made a webinar presentation using 10 images which are not mine, and that is definitely something that has to be thought about. I don't ever share this sort of stuff with my students. At the end of the day, I'm showing them images that I've taken from the internet,
Hmm.
and um, and it's neither here nor there to them. I think it's much more important when I'm doing teacher training that I discuss these issues with teacher trainers, and everybody's got their own ways of looking at things. And we're at a time at the moment where copyright laws are often, because of the whole changes the internet has brought, copyright law is undergoing change as well. Precedents are being set at the moment. I think we've got to use common sense, and we've got to use fairness, and we've got to create our own standards. And I have a very, very fixed way of doing these things in my own mind, but to other people I certainly do err on the other side of caution. I don't know what you would say.
Okay.
because of the nature. Yes.
All right. Fair enough. Okay, so last question, I believe. You've been presenting these kinds of imaginative and, in his opinion, excellent teaching techniques to teachers all over the world.
Thank you.
Generally speaking, have you found these ideas to be better received by native English-speaking teachers or non-native-speaking teachers? And do you sometimes face strong resistance from any quarters?
Ooh. That's a difficult one to answer. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think I could. I don't think I'm experienced enough, quite honestly, to say. I haven't. I mean, where's the furthest I've been with this sort of thing? It would be Malaysia is the furthest I've been to present, and other than that, I haven't really. I've presented in Turkey a couple of times. So I'm thinking about some Turkish friends out there, and I've stayed within Europe, except for going out to Malaysia. So I don't really think I've got enough experience to say one way or the other. I could give you an answer, and it would probably be a complete guess. So I won't.
So no.
So no. But it's an interesting question, and I'm going to be thinking about it.
Okay, well next time you do a webinar, then you can address that.
I mean, you always see differences between different types of teachers and different cultures and ways that they take to in your presenting styles. And to be honest, I'm trying to find my way about that at the moment, trying to learn how to present to different people in different parts of the world. But I think it's difficult to focus on details like how they respond specifically to activities. But I'm sure I will have more to say about that later when I am a bit more travelled.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty late for you, and I'm sure for most of the people who are attending this, it's a ripe old 7 o'clock here.
Well.
So I think we're gonna end it all off now.
Well, just to say to you, thank you very much for having me and inviting me to come along, and I also, of course, to everybody out there, all the participants. It's nice to meet some Canadian teachers, and it's nice to know there's so many people dotted around other places. A few that I know, I'm quite sure, down in Argentina to Germany and Poland. I think you said Poland, and Turkey, and Italy.
Yeah, there was. Yeah.
There's someone in Switzerland as well, isn't there? So. And I've missed out some places, forgive me, but just say thank you very much for staying up late if you're on the wrong side.
Yeah, hopefully you can stay up late another time when you come to another webinar too. But anyway, just to recap, there's a few people on here that just want to say thank you. They say thanks a lot for the fabulous ideas. They're great stuff from your book they've used, and they think it works really well. Thanks to both of us. It was a great webinar. Jamie is simply the best.
Well, thank you, Chief. Thank you very much for all that. It's so nice of you. And yeah, as I said, you've got my contact details, so please feel free to drop me a line.
Great.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jamie. Have a good night.
Thank you very much.
See everyone later.
And see you now. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.